All right, I just want to provide a little bit more context on this clip here because I just find this fascinating in all sorts of layers. So let's break it down. First, let's take a look at the clip. Here's what we're working with. So it's kind of an odd intersection, but right here, you can see actually all these lights are red. Now, these lights here are for the people in this lane either going straight, it's technically straight, but it kind of curves to the right, or you would yield and go left. You would yield to people coming this way, or these people could even be turning right and come this way. They're all red right now. As we get here, still all red. Now this one turns green. That is not a left turn signal. That is for the people that are crossing in front of me here. And this red light here would be if I was going to yield and go left or go straight through that. So we'll see Tesla just blows right through that red light. And yes, I allowed it. So you can say I shouldn't have done that, and we'll get to that. But here, I'll let it play a little more smoothly without interrupting it. So it just goes right on through that red light. So I thought this was interesting, and for lots of reasons I'm excited about my car and FSD and all this stuff. So I posted about it in the Model Y Juniper group, just, hey, loving it, but was a bit surprised to see it blow through this red light. And the feedback is just funny. So, well, some of it anyway. I mean, this one, okay, so I would guess it saw the green light and translated it as a left turn while the red light. So I believe that's talking, if we go back here, they're referring to this, and that one now turns green. So that's one of my major questions here. Did the car, is that really what it thought? Did it think that this was the light it should be responding to? Or did it know this was the correct light, but just like many humans do, it reasoned and calculated that maybe slamming on the brakes would have been even more of a detriment to the person behind it? We'll get to that when I show the Google map. But yeah, so this, maybe that is the case. If we go back here, so yeah, this person, I just saw it run a stop sign, okay. And then you don't deserve to use the software if you simply cannot stop the car when it goes. Okay, I got a lot of thoughts on that. I'll come back to that. Looks like a bunch of other vehicles ignored it, and yeah, that car in front of us blew right through it as well. So if we play that again, that car in front of us should have stopped. We definitely should have stopped, but I knew it wasn't a detrimental safety concern, so I allowed FSD I wanted to see what it would do if it was really going to do that. We'll come back to that. I can't even tell if you're driving Tesla FSD or a dash cam from a 2002 Ford Ranger. Okay, well, in here you can see the watermark on here from the Tesla cam software. Also, again, dude, I'm a longtime Elon fanboy, software developer, Tesla shareholder. I join all the earnings calls. I read all the 10Ks and all this stuff. Okay, I'm not BSing here. So I'm trying to put this information out there so that we can crack this thing. And again, it's fascinating to me. So I will say that I've seen it copy behaviors of vehicles in front of it. So that's kind of what I was wondering too. The vehicle in front of it just went on through. Was that part of its reasoning? One of my main things here is I wish we could see the inference compute. I wish we could see the reasoning, its thought process, just like we can now on Grok or some, GPT. If you use these reasoning language models, it'll study things, deep research. It'll look for 30 minutes and you can watch its thought process the whole time. I wish I could see what the thought process of the car was here. Again, did it think, oh, my left turn light is green, I'm just going to go? That'd be completely wrong. Or did it think, well, it's red, the person in front of me went through, and now if we look, let's go over here to the Google map. And this person here, the path you were taking was a green light, stop the lies. No, buddy, that is not, if you really think that, I'm glad you've got a Tesla and I hope it drives you, even when it does little things like this, because you're just not in the right there, buddy. So let's go back over here and look at the map. So here's the intersection that we're talking about, and it is a weird intersection. So here's where I was. This is a two-way. I'm recording, so now it's choppy. But this is a two-way, so I'm coming this way. there's traffic that could be flowing this way, and then here's a highway, 2 lanes this way and 2 lanes this way with turning lanes and stuff. Now this is kind of goofy here. If you're on the highway here, this is a one-way kind of an exit over to this road over here. And so if you're going that way, people here could also turn right and go this way. So there's a yield here. And then there's also people that could be going technically straight through this intersection from this road over here. They could go straight here. So where I am, when you're looking at it here, we're crossing right here, turning left onto this highway. And so that shot right there, I should have stopped right here at this line. Now, when that happened, I could see clearly that there were no cars a long way down here, and these guys over here are all stopped and just getting ready to go. There was plenty of time to get through that, even with how red it was. If there wasn't, I would have stopped it and I wouldn't have allowed it. But again, my own human reasoning kind of calculated all that. I'm wondering, I'm not saying it should have done this. I'm not saying it would have been correct either way. But what was the reasoning? Did it think this was the proper light? Or did it just reason that even though it's red, I'm going to go? Either way, it needs to be trained. And that gets me back to another point. Like, had I disengaged here, then it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, here's what happened. But all I would have been able to say is, it sure felt like it was about to go. And then I think Tesla could then look that up and have access to the inference and the reasoning, the thought process behind the computer. I really wish they would give that access to us. That would be so much fun. Even when everything's going perfectly, it's just interesting. Again, if you've done that with the language models, you can see how it's thinking, and it's really interesting. So again, I knew that it was technically safe. I mean, had a police officer seen me do that, totally on me, write me a ticket. Maybe one will send me a ticket now when I'm posting this. Hey, so be it. I'm just trying to get this information out there so that Tesla and these robots can learn from it. Because yeah, back to that point. In this case, I didn't disengage. So now I really didn't get the opportunity to submit a bug report. This is the only way to do that, is after the fact, let it do what it's going to do, responsibly, supervised. Again, if it was unsafe, I would have stopped it. But in this instance, there was plenty of room all about. And so I allowed it to happen. And now when that sort of thing happens, I want to share it. I want us all to be able to see it. I want, ideally, of course, Tesla to be able to have examples like this. But again, how do we share this? How do they get the opportunity to take these kind of examples and train their models when you didn't disengage? But again, had I disengaged, then we wouldn't know 100% if it was really going to blow through it or if it might have slammed on the brakes at the end. So I just find this whole thing fascinating for lots of different reasons, including, like, guys, you couldn't be more wrong about thinking I'm just trying to BS here. I love this stuff. It's fascinating on so many levels. And so anyway, as I was about to respond to all these people in here, I just figured maybe I would do a video for a little more context. But yeah, let me know. Are you guys seeing this kind of stuff too? And, again, let me go back to this. Please stop the lies. Couple things. One, you're telling me here that was the correct light. So again, you're just not right about that. Two, please stop the lies. I find that interesting. Are you trying to tell me that you're driving on FSD on a regular basis and you don't see stuff like this happening? Because I got lots of other examples. It's never stuff that's completely unsafe. Again, that's kind of the point. Even in this one, blowing through that light, there was plenty of room, and that's why I wonder. But if you're really going to act like you don't have any examples like this, who's the one not necessarily being truthful? So in fact, I'm going to get camera equipment. I'm going to set up, I'm going to do a more robust FSD training, because I've got a few areas around, this is a weird intersection. And it actually has, I've got a clip of another one, same exact intersection. There was a car sitting here, and then we came up behind it. It was already red, so it was stopped. It slowly kind of came up behind it, And then it started to turn over into this lane as if it thought it was a left turn lane. Because again, I always turn left here when I'm going this way. And I disengaged that one. That was not good. Sadly, that was when I was trying to show it off to my wife for the first time, and it totally bombed. But again, it's fascinating to me. What's the reasoning behind that? I've got that clip. I'll have to post it. But yeah, this is a weird intersection. I've got a couple of other intersections around here I'm going to be going through a bunch of times because they're weird intersections and it's not handling them perfectly every time. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be trained. That's the kind of stuff that we got to get examples of. And again, if I just disengage it, and you never know what exactly it would have done. I mean, hopefully Tesla does know. When I do disengage and then I give them the voice feedback, I think they've got access to that compute. I'm kind of wondering that too. Do they see all that reasoning data? I would assume so. And then they feed it a bunch of video examples of that kind of scenario in the proper way so that it learns how to do that in the future. But yeah, again, weird intersection. I just thought it was interesting. I'm excited about my car. I'm driving FSD. That thing drives me everywhere. I don't hardly drive anymore, and it's beautiful. And they're so close. We're so close to cracking this nut. And this kind of stuff is what we got to get weeded out.